Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to our van build series where we're gonna be going over our entire build of our 2020 4x4 170 Sprinter van. My girlfriend Nicole and I spent about 3 months building it out and we documented the entire journey. Back in 2020 when the lockdowns first arrived, we ended up building out a Ram ProMaster as kind of our first van and we loved that thing to death. But after about a year, we ended up selling that to build this newer van. And honestly, one of the main reasons was just because that van didn't have 4-wheel drive.
Put these bad boys in 4-wheel drive. That's better.
And the new Sprinter would, so it'd be a lot more capable. And let me tell you, it was ridiculously hard to find a 4x4 van. It took me about 2 months of searching to finally find the right van. Honestly, it was just the 4x4 vans are really hard to come by and the wait list for new ones is almost a year long. But eventually, after just like scoping Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist every single day for a couple months, we found one that was already built out. And basically the build that he did was just not very good. So we ended up ripping just everything that he put in out and starting fresh. We are ridiculously stoked to finally be sharing this with you. We finished the van like last August and it's already March right now. So without further ado, the van build series starts now.
All right, so today is our first demo day. Gary is here, my brother's here. Since Danny's in Alaska right now, it's just gonna be me, my brother, and Gary doing the first few demo days.
All right, so spending the last like 8 or 9 days in Alaska. We're up hiking right now out on the Kenai Peninsula. Oh shit, is that a bear?
And we are going to be taking down just all of the paneling and everything in here, these cabinets, and yeah, we're gonna be doing that today. Gary's excited.
Okay, so real quick before we get into the actual build, I've got to explain the duck. So the duck is Gary and she's kind of been like our team mascot for our builds, and we actually even took her on a few van life trips, and she was Nicole's pet duck. And unfortunately, it's actually kind of really sad to talk about this right now, but Gary went into surgery and she ended up not making it. But the few months that we were building the van, she was hanging out with us all the time, so I'm really glad that we have these videos to look back on.
Gary's eating the PF Chang's!
Or do you want to do these other sides first?
Who are you mad at, huh? Is this a tomato?
Or wait, you don't care about the top.
Ah!
Anyways, back to the video.
Alright, so now we're gonna start working on this whole setup, this bad boy here. And we got it. Chuck her in the bin. We got the bedding out here, and Gary will not stop quacking. Gary! So we were worried about ripping these panels off the wall, but then realized that they are Velcroed on. But they're super easy to yank off, but I don't know if I want to do. Well, we finished our first demo day. Gary and Tug are here. Mom and Christian are here. But we finished it. All we gotta do is really get the cabinet out now. So, but we got ceiling out except for that because of just like electrical stuff we just don't want to mess with right now. And all the bedding and framing and whatnot we got out. So, I would say it's successful, huh, Tug?
Was it successful? Yes.
Alright, it's a little bit windy, but we're in our favorite place again. Freaking Lowe's, and I'm gonna go get samples with my mom and dad. Yeah, gonna get some floor samples and paints samples for the van. My dad's yelling at me to put my mask on, so this would be the top cabinets. Technically, this is a substitution for the bottom. These are the bottom cabinets. There it is, people. Those are our cabinets. Technically this isn't there, but those are the cabinets right here. Unless Danny doesn't like it. He's in Alaska.
Are you guys robbing this store?
No, we're looking at flooring. Mom thinks this flooring is nice, where I'm looking at the wood stuff.
I see.
But we're gonna see which one goes best with all these colors. But Danny gets to decide, but he's not here right now. So these are the samples we got.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm officially back from Alaska. Nicole did a bunch, and her brothers did a bunch of work, just kind of like pulling everything out. So I'm gonna head up to Nicole's family campground, which is actually kind of sad right now because they're selling, so they're kind of moving out slowly. So I'm gonna head up there. We're gonna get rid of all of this stuff and then kind of talk about just like finalizing our plans for the van and just getting organized with things. So I'll see you up there. We got Demolition team. Christian, Nicole, Davis, Tug, and there's a sledgehammer coming somewhere. Uh-oh. So we just have to pull everything out and chuck it in the bin.
Chuck her in the bin. Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of damage. Oh, woo! What a shot! Oh.
So right now, this is all basically kind of ruined because they just put this weird sticky, I don't even know what you call it.
It was like bed liner type stuff, but they just stuck it right on the floor. So we're just gonna strip everything down to like the bare minimum, chuck this floor away, and then so we have basically just a perfectly like brand new space to work with.
Bye bye sticky goop wetness.
Oh, look out. So the next part of the van build after we got our shell was to plan out the layout. And the best way that we've found to do that is just to physically tape it out inside the van. And at this point, it's really good to just have exact dimensions of different components that you want to put in your van. So whether it's a water tank, a fridge, anything like that, you want the actual dimensions of it. So as you're taping out the layout, you can kind of just fit everything in exactly where they're going to be. So once you have those dimensions, just grab some tape and send it. So the bench is going to be here, here,
like
all the way.
Huge L shape. So you have a little nook here, and you can have a little nook there too, because the bed's sitting right there. So you can have two little nooks.
45 minutes later, and we have set down 2 pieces of tape. Nicole, what's wrong with your shirt?
I just realized I thought I lost all my buttons. Like my shirt was unbuttoned. I just had my shirt on inside out.
We are officially back home.
At our Home Depot.
On our last van that we worked on, we were literally at Home Depot probably like once every 2 days, if not like twice a day sometimes.
Yeah.
This is the first inaugural trip to Home Depot, so.
Thinking about parking the van out here, low-key.
Just set up a workshop like in the parking lot of Home Depot. But today, what are we working on, Nicole?
We are working on our ceiling and picking out the best looking wood we can find to put up on this nice bad boy.
So we're doing something a little different with this van. We're still doing slats, but we have a special little design thing that we think should turn out super cool.
Right now we are looking for our ceiling, but we want it to match our maple butcher block. So we're looking for maple.
Basically, you want to match your countertop and your ceiling, or else the shades will be a little bit off. In general, you want to match all your horizontal lines and your vertical lines color-wise. So we're trying to find maple slats to put on the ceiling. Lumber has been secured. We're officially figuring out how freaking expensive lumber is. All this wood right here was like $350. I think if we did this like 1 year ago, this would maybe be like $150 or something like that. So Nicole is stoked. Essentially what we're gonna be doing is taking these maple chunks. We're gonna be cutting these into thinner strips, so we'll cut it there, and then halfway, and that's gonna be our ceiling. So we'll put plywood up first, and then paint that black or gray or something like that, and then we'll put these strips in, and we'll leave a bit of a gap, and in that gap, we'll be putting little LED strips. And it's something we haven't really seen anyone else do before, so pretty excited for that. But now it's just about measuring and figuring out where our cabinets are gonna be. So to get cabinet dimensions, which is what I'm working on right now, is measure where the cabinets are gonna be in the bottom. So here, all the way to here. And then you get that measurement, and then you go up to the top of the cabinets, and you go from here all the way over to here. And then you know how much length changes between these two, and then you can figure out how curved your cabinets are. We don't necessarily have to be doing this right now, but since we're here, I'm just measuring it. Getting it all set up. It sounds like we're gonna do one cabinet all the way down, and then on this side, do a cabinet sort of halfway over the bed. So we'll have plenty of storage and a really dope ceiling to go with the storage. So we had 3 planks. Now we have 6 because we cut those in half. And now what we're doing is we are cutting these in half to be a total of 12 8-foot slats. Chance is going walking. Where are we going? Run! It started raining the second they left. Crap.
So right now we are currently working on lining up our ceiling.
Yep, these spacers are basically the exact same width that we want. So we're just spacing it out, seeing what it would look like, and making sure our LED strips will fit in between. Our LED lights are gonna sort of get stuck in here, so we just wanna make sure they're spaced out right and get it all lined up. So basically how our ceiling is laid out is black 1/4-inch plywood with maple slats evenly laid out on top of that, or on bottom of it, depending on how you look at it. For all the LED strips, basically what I had to do was cut all the LED strips the exact length that I wanted. And you can actually buy these like strip channels that you can put them in. So cut everything to length. And basically I just ran the wires up over the plywood, hooked them all together kind of above where the ceiling is, and then just did a little bit of soldering. So FPV drones and soldering FPV drones together actually came in handy in a real world situation for those. So all you need if you want to do this setups too is just get yourself a soldering gun, the LED light strips, and 22 gauge wire to kind of hook it all together. And good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so today we're hopefully getting the outline for our cabinets, our upperhead cabinets. So basically right now what I'm doing is I'm getting these sticks. Me and Nicole just cut them. We're gonna be putting them up exactly where our overhead cabinets are gonna be, and then the roof is gonna be right above my head. Just made the final cut of the day. Getting this little hole drilled for the fan. Now we're on cleanup squad. How do you feel?
So hot.
Is that all you have to say?
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, it is super hot, so we're wrapping up for the day. Tomorrow we're gonna pick up and spray paint the roof panels and line up all the slats. Nicole, what are you doing? Alright guys, so that's it for episode. But right now, what I'm doing is just cutting this big piece of plywood perfectly so I can put it on the roof. This corner right here was kind of a bit of an issue, so I had to like figure out how this was gonna go around. That corner is cut, and we're gonna try and fit it up here. That's some gopher on there.
Well, today we are painting our ceiling, basically. Obviously, our ceiling isn't going to be black. It's just going to be like the background. But yeah, we're spray painting it black, so it gives it more definition and whatnot.
While Nicole is painting and doing that, me and my friend Jesse are going to be starting to install this beast here, which is a heater. Neither of us have ever installed anything like it before, but there's a lot of good instructions, so it should be good. For me, it's super important to just like set everything up and look at it before I start assembling anything, because it just helps my brain stay organized. So everything's all laid out over in there. Now, next step is to get the seat off of this little mount, because this is where I'm gonna put the heater. It's basically going to be coming out right here, and that's just where I've seen most people do it. So swivel seat is off. Now what I'm doing is finding the exact placement for it. Basically right here is kind of the most ideal spot to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark with a Sharpie all these holes and then drill them out. First hole in the bottom of the Sprinter van. Wow, that is not what you want to see. So funky. Welcome to the underside of the van. Woo!
It's the best part of the van. We're actually gonna put the bed like right there. So.
But as you can see, look here is the bottom of where that thing in the top is mounted with the beautiful red silicone. And now we are routing the exhaust cable. It's actually kind of funny. This heater has like its little own exhaust. I have a lot of respect for mechanics who do this shit every day. All right, so the second line is on. So you can see this is the input and then output. Output goes to the muffler, plug it into there, and then all the bottom stuff is good to go.
This is the how to use a utility knife if you're a kid tutorial. Is you just point it as close to your fingers as you can, and then pull really hard.
So while Jesse is figuring out how to hose clamp, I'm gonna start on the electrical, and what we have is a gigantic mess of wires. But essentially you just have to power this unit on and then connect the thermostat / control unit. So I think in reality, it'll be pretty simple, but you never know. Jesse, how are you?
I'm never better, honestly. I just want to keep hose clamping until I die.
Okay, so we ended up getting the heater working. It was pumping and everything. Last step is to just drill this hole like you guys saw. It fits perfectly in there. We'll put the vent fan there and just connect this tube, and boom, it's a fully functioning heating system. Heater is installed, and what I'm gonna do is just pack all these wires over somewhere out of the way, and then later on in the build I'll figure out where to mount that thing. But okay, I hope you guys can hear me. My dad is weed whacking right now. But basically what I'm doing is I'm putting together the final iteration of the ceiling. We've been picking away at this thing for like almost a week, but it's really actually pretty complicated how to get it up, how to get it wired together. Obviously yesterday I was soldering stuff, so it's just this really big process, but kind of hiding behind this plywood for the noise. Over here you can see it's laid out on the table. So I'm just gonna switch over to a time lapse of me putting everything together, and I'll sort of explain how we're gonna get it up there and all those details in a minute. All right, so here's where we're at right now. I've cut and laid out most of the pieces. All I have now is this strip right here, and I've got these little pieces to kind of finish that out with. I don't have enough spacers to do all of this, so I'm gonna come here and I'm just gonna flip these pieces of wood, glue them, staple them, and when I say staple, I mean with this nail gun. So I'm gonna work my way from the center, which is right here. It's exactly 18 inches from there over, and get everything tacked in, but not tack in all the pieces that really bridge this gap between the two pieces here. So it's 2 pieces of plywood, and I want to be able to put them up separately, just because putting them up all in one seems like it's going to be really hard, and then just see if that will be easy to put up on the ceiling. So Nicole finally showed up. What she's doing is going here with this little wood crayon thing and filling all the holes from the nail gun. So these little guys here. And most of everything is nailed down. We got a little bit of finish work left, but then we're gonna flip all of this over. I'm gonna wire everything up from behind, and then hopefully put it up in the van. Ceiling. All right, so big moment. We are gonna be putting in the back ceiling first. Nicole's gonna be making weird noises, and then we're gonna be putting this one in, and hopefully we'll have a ceiling today.
It's gonna look bomb diggity.
So I gotta gather the troops, and then we gotta lift this thing up.
Troops, I can't say gather.
Yeah. How much? You might be able to cover that one. Over here, though, how's that joint is the most important thing. This is the design that we ended up with.
Master, what to think?
We just went to Lowe's and dropped so much money on plywood.
Pretty light for a cabinet.
Yeah.